Did MyronGaines from the Fresh and Fit podcast just admit that he was a grifter? So recently, Myron went on Steven Crowder's podcast that he hosts on Rumble, right? And Steven Crowder specifically asked him about, Adolf Hitler. And he basically asked Myron, why does he support Hitler? And when you hear his response, you guys are going to be just as confused as I was. But before we get into it, please do me a favor. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. It really helps out with the channel. Guys, we are almost at 20K. Make sure you subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And while you're at it, please do me a favor and do not forget to join the Discord. And also make sure that you subscribe to the gaming channel as well. I will leave links to those in the description down below. Without further ado, let's listen to what Myron has to say about the good old mustache man.
But let's make sure we hit Hitler.
Yes.
Because
I
don't
really have all that much time. All right, you said, what, Hitler's a... I don't know. I don't want to. Something about Hitler being a. Just go.
Which one?
Hitler.
Okay, yeah.
Hitler's good.
So my fuck with Hitler was that?
I don't know how to follow.
What it could be.
I'm trying to give you a clean slate, so just because there's no way that this is not going to result.
Okay. No,
oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you did, but if you did, I wouldn't be super happy with you either.
Yes, I'm nuts. I'm just kidding. So my thing is this, right? So we all know that the past 4 years we've had to deal with insane levels of censorship, whether it be from YouTube or Twitch or these other bullshit-ass platforms. We've all been targeted. You guys have been targeted. I've been targeted. Everyone on the right wing, to some degree, has been targeted with the last super pro-censorship era that we came from with the Biden administration. So when I talk about, Hitler's one of the most misunderstood individuals in history, or, was everything true that they told us about World War II? What I'm really talking about is it's a middle finger to censorship. So when I throw up a Roman salute, it's not about saying, oh yeah, let's gas all the Jews and kill all the Jews. No, it's a middle finger to censorship. Mm-hmm. And the biggest way to give that middle finger to censorship is to attack the things that they've been censoring the hardest, right?
Right.
Like, you guys are not going to control.
Yeah, that absolutely makes no sense at all. That is so stupid. So let me see if I understand this correctly. You specifically praise Hitler because you are essentially throwing up this big middle finger to censorship. Sir, there are other ways to do that. Matter of fact, you're already doing them. You say racist, bigoted crap. You use specific slurs. You make fun of people. You do things already that could be considered as you throwing a huge middle finger to censorship. You are already doing that. Guys, there is a huge difference between defending free speech and using history's most evil person as your mascot. This is not you rebelling against censorship. This is you chasing shock value. You don't have to say that Hitler is misunderstood or that he was a great person in order for you to throw a middle finger up to censorship. Also, I find it so hilarious that he's claiming that he's doing this to fight back against censorship, right? Sir, you weren't even censored when you started to talk about this dumb. Guys, think about it. This was one of the main reasons as to why he was demonetized in the first goddamn place. That is exactly why I said that he's chasing shock value at this point. Anyway, we have a lot more of the clip to get through, so let's get through it, man.
Discourse, you guys are not going to control our conversations. This is the United States of America. Freedom of speech is important, and for us to continue to be able to have freedom of speech, we need trailblazers that are willing to be really. Because if you lose, if you don't use it,
you don't need Sieg Heil.
But I was doing YouTube Hitler in 2015.
Thank you. Did you hear what Steven Crowder's co-host just said? He said we do not need Sieg Heilers in order to do that. That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't need that.
But no. So all jokes aside. So yeah. So my thing is like pushing back on the censorship regime that we've had to deal with the past several years. And obviously, a little bit is like, poking fun at shit like that, right? Because obviously this topic is what got me demonetized on YouTube. Yeah. So for me, it's like more of like a fuck you to the censorship regime. Yeah. And I do think that, no topic should be off limits. And for some odd reason that, we weren't able to hear his speeches, weren't able to hear him talk, etc. And people don't even know, right, that after World War I, right, you guys know this, but a lot of
Treaty Versailles and how they were embarrassed in the international stage.
Germany was like in a really bad spot.
The Treaty Versailles is an example of what not to.
First of all, it wasn't just Germany that was in a bad spot. The world was in a bad spot.
Do as far as international diplomacy.
Yeah.
You back someone up into a corner.
Absolutely.
But I would say then you create a Hitler, which I would say is bad.
So two things.
Okay, so Crowder actually may have a point when it comes to that in the Treaty of Versailles. And historians have argued this for fucking years now as to like what really created a person like Hitler. Anyway.
Germany the economy was doing a lot better because of the Roaring '20s, just like everywhere else in the world. But after the entire world economy crashed, everybody started doing poorly, and Germany didn't have much of a leg to stand on more so than America and the other things.
Because Hitler came in 1933, if I'm not mistaken, when he came into power.
He came in the unrest. So it wasn't the 20s. It wasn't the Treaty of Versailles as explicitly like everybody points to. Everybody was actually doing okay in the Roaring 20s. Like they weren't doing as well as the United States and developed countries, but it wasn't that. It was once the Great Depression started in the United States, dragged down the world economy, then Hitler comes up because of the economic issues there.
Yeah, there was a bunch of different issues. But my thing is that, like, right, so number one, this guy's like the most censored dude in history, and like no one ever talks about how, like, you know, there was a period of time where he literally took Germany from like the worst to, you know, obviously one of the strongest economies in the world, right?
Oh my gosh! Wait. Let me finish. Let him finish. I'm gonna let him finish.
Because everyone says Nazi, you know, which was really the National Socialist Party, instituted a bunch of things to help the country with, you know, regaining its prominence, and no one ever talks about that. And I think that that's a problem where.
Okay, yeah, exactly what I thought. He didn't explain this. Oh my gosh, he's so stupid. He did not explain as to how Hitler grew the economy. So Hitler's government basically created like this short-term state-driven recovery. Now, that could be perceived to be impressive on the surface level, but you have to start asking specific questions. What did Hitler's government specifically do? And I'm telling you right now, his government was rooted in militarization, repression, and exploitation as well. This obviously wasn't healthy for the country, and it wasn't a long-lasting improvement. Hitler's government directly led to devastation and war. You claim that, oh yeah, he's one of the most censored people in all of history. Yeah, for good reason, you moron. He was evil.
And no one ever talks about that. And I think that that's a problem where we demonize people so much or censor the topic so much where we can't even have real discourse or conversations on, you know, other things that might have occurred during that period of time. So me saying the things that I say about Hitler, it's more of a middle finger to the censorship regime that we've had to deal with versus being like, oh yeah, I love Hitler. It's more about we need to be able to discuss anything, even if it is Hitler.
No, I think discussions are.
We have discussed Hitler. You simply discussing Hitler is not the issue. The issue is you saying things like Hitler was right. You basically repeating some of the anti-Semitic crap that he said that led him to kill millions and millions of Jewish people. That is when it becomes a problem.
Are necessary, but I think you and I both see a difference between being able to say, you know, love
my favorite word,
right?
One of the best words of all time.
Perfect example, right? And I literally said that. I literally said that at the beginning. I said, you already do this, right? You already do this. In order to throw a middle finger up to censorship, you already do this. You say racist and bigoted crap. Yes, and slurs and homophobia is all a part of that. You already do it. So you do not need to praise somebody like Hitler. It doesn't make any sense.
So listen, and doing a Sieg Heil saying maybe the Austrian painter was right? There's a different connotation, and I understand the pushback on censorship because we've been in that same boat, so I get it. But there's a huge difference between saying a word and ascribing kind of virtuousness to probably
And you
one of
shouldn't
the
be
chief
censored for
villains.
saying it.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
but
You understand how the perception
part of being anti-censorship is that disagreeing. It's like, no,
and that's
he
great.
did bad things.
And you guys are not even being censored for real. Platforms are just kicking you off because they don't want hateful to be spewed on their platforms. You're not dying. You're not going to jail. No one is prosecuting you for the shit you are saying. You guys are openly saying this on Rumble. You made it. You're not censored. You're not censored. You just want to be paid for your bigotry. And I'm sorry, like I said before, it doesn't work that way.
Of course. And I think every world leader does, by the way, does horrible things, right? That might be.
Yeah, there are levels to this shit.
Holy shit. Oh, man. This guy cannot even say that Hitler did evil, heinous, disgusting shit. He has to say instead, oh, well, you know, every world leader does terrible things. Like, what? Even Crowder just said, well, there are levels to this. Absolutely.
And Stalin and Mao seem to occupy some rarefied air with Pol Pot as well. Like those guys are in different places as far as how evil they were. Papa Doc, he just didn't have as many people.
You know, what I would say with that, right? So, we were talking about
Hitler.
No. It was before that. It was
the Treaty of Versailles.
No.
I brought them back. The censorship stuff.
Those are gonna say.
YouTube.
Hitler was right. Okay. So what you're saying? Yeah. So yes, it was. Okay. Yeah. So what we were talking about before, where Hitler was right. So like because I had a clip that went viral on this, and I said Hitler was right about John and then XYZ right. No one ever knows what I meant though when I said that.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I said Hitler was right, what I meant was where Jews control media, finances, and certain institutions.
All anti-Semitic talking points, by the way.
In countries and have overrepresentation in certain types of institutions to their benefit. So that's what I was talking about when I said Hitler was right about y'all about that. Now, obviously, people are going to click that and be like, look, see, he said he was right about everything. This guy's a joke.
Wait. But if you deny explain that, I mean, either way, it's still anti-Semitic. But if you did not explain that within that same clip, then how do you expect people to take it, dummy? That doesn't make any sense.
So maniac, no. But what I was saying is that in his book, if you read Mein Kampf or whatever, Henry Ford actually was the first one to bring these ideas.
Henry Ford sent private letters to Hitler, and he was an actual anti-Semite.
Oh yeah, the International Jew, right? Great book. So in that book, like he talks
some
about
light summer reading.
World Jewry,
exactly
right? World Jewry, how it's a global cabal that they are basically helping each other to further Jewish interests. And actually, let me be clear about this. I don't think that there's a problem with that. I actually think Americans need to have the same level of nationalism.
They did it for a reason in the context of the time.
Yeah, because they've been the most.
They had no power.
Yeah,
so they needed power.
Been persecuted, etc. So they work together. And I think that's something that we can actually take a page from them. Is that unity?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And why is it when we talk about Hitler and his nationalism, why do we not talk about the heinous crap that he did? We could take a page out of his book. No, absolutely not. And when they talk about Hitler's nationalism, they are specifically talking about his control on society or even his views on strength. Guys, these are not neutral ideas. This ideology is incredibly tied into racism, into anti-Semitism, and totalitarian control in general. So no, let's not take a page out of his book.
But I think I'm willing to offend some people so that others can say stuff that's less extreme than me. Right? So like if I'm able to go ahead and throw Roman salute and oh my God, that's so fucking crazy. But now you can say that there's two genders. Right. Because that is not as egregious.
A little bit different,
right?
but
that still doesn't make any sense. People that despise Hitler and people that believe that there are more than two genders are going to find both things deplorable either way. If you're throwing up Roman salutes and there's somebody that is saying, hey, there's only two genders, they're going to hate both of you guys. They are not going to solely focus on you because you said the worst thing. At this point, I don't know if Myron has like delusions of grandeur or if, I don't know. It might be delusions of grandeur at this point. This man really think he's way more important than what he actually is.
I understand. I understand where you're coming from.
Because don't forget,
having a conversation is different than throwing like a Roman salute or saying Hitler was wrong with that. I get it.
It's fine if he does it and it's a joke. I don't have any fucking problem with it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Well, like 2 or 3 years ago, keep in mind.
A joke. So that's what we are going to call this now. A joke. Guys, this is not a joke. This man is literally using the most evil man in history as his mascot for shock value. Guys, it's not a secret that Myron's popularity and Fresh and Fit's popularity in general declined. So in order to stay relevant, Myron had to say a lot of this shit in order to get some sort of shock value, to get some sort of engagement, just so that he can stay relevant. And I'm sorry, I find that disgusting and I find it deplorable because you are saying some of the same shit that Hitler said. Because while you're trying to get this engagement, while you're trying to get this attention, you are spreading all of this hate, all of this evil, all of this racism, all of this bigotry. You are spreading that to your audience, and you know your audience are idiots. So even, let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's just say Myron is just joking. He genuinely doesn't believe in the things that he is saying. Yeah, that's even worse because his audience is going to eat up whatever the he says because he still has some level of influence. And there have been a couple of instances in general where he talked about like having peace within America and violence is bad and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But you constantly spread hate.
Or we were. You couldn't even say that there were two genders. We couldn't even talk about COVID being a scam. Now we can, right?
But, so what did we say to get around that though?
We said enough truth.
We just said there are two genders. There are only two genders.
Yeah.
You know, like we didn't have to go to some of the extremes. I think on the conversations, we went so far so fast. It's really hard to talk about the nationalism that Hitler had as his policy, because people went straight to he killed JFK, or sorry, they killed JFK. They do all these things. You get to the conspiracy end of everything, and Hitler was right about the Jews, and they had too much power. You get all the way to the end of it, and it's like, well, I can't talk about any of it now because now I'm dealing with swatting that crap down.
Yeah,
because that's all people are looking at.
That comes inevitably with free speech, right? Is because now that we have more free speech than we did before, now you got to also kind of swat the fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
You are the weirdo. You are literally the weirdo. You're the weirdo. You do what his co-host just described. This is you. He was talking about you. You are the weirdo. Did that go over his head? Am I tripping? He is the weirdo.
But yeah, no. So to me, I think, being able to have difficult discussions, being able to, question everything is something that we need to do. We need to push the edges. So, that's why it's more of a middle finger to the censorship regime. And I do think that he is misunderstood, and a lot of people don't understand a lot of things. And I do think that he was accurate about a lot of things, especially when it comes to Jewish power, how Jews run things, etc. Because we're even seeing it now, kind of, in American society, where we, have this ridiculous lobbying power from, Zionist Jews in America, where they're able to kind of get a lot of the things that they want that other countries or other people might not be able to do, right? Like the anti-Semitism laws that they passed and everything else.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And they passed those laws because of dumbass people like you. Man. Guys, I don't know how else to put this. Myron is just basically chasing reactions at this point. His entire online persona is just basically him saying things that he knows that is going to get attention. He is purely focused on virality. And boy, when that attention starts going downhill, that's when he escalates that shock factor. Moving from to gender takes, to race baiting, and to invoking Hitler. This is not conviction. This is a business model for him. Also, for him saying that Jews control this, Jews do that, yes, that's very anti-Semitic. That was the core justification for Hitler's ideology. You're repeating the same rhetoric that led to genocide. At this point, I think he's grifting while he's spreading real anti-Semitic ideology. Like I said before, he's using hate as a business model, knowingly echoing the same rhetoric that Hitler used, and he's pretending that it's truth while he profits off of the outrage. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree with anything that I said? Do you disagree? Please let me know in the comments down below. I know the comments are going to be a little insane because whenever I bring up anti-Semitism or Jewish people, the bigots go crazy. I'm just so amazed that this man said, "Oh, I'm doing this to fight back against censorship. This is a huge middle finger to censorship." And then in the same video, he said, "But Hitler was right about some things though." Like I said, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. Let's make sure I hit 20,000 before the year ends, man. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.